What's up, my derps? It's your boy Gregolis, and on today's episode of Cast Guidance, we're going to talk about how to handle mental health at your table. All right, go ahead and add a D4 to your ability check, and let's get better at D&D together. Before we begin, don't forget to roll to hit that subscribe button and add an extra attack to the notification bell so you don't miss any awesome content. Mental health is something that affects our community quite a bit. Being more aware of the concerns and conditions that exist is very important as you traverse through the complex intricacies of personal relationships in your game. I should preface that I am not a trained professional. I've had previous certifications in mental health in the workplace and people management, but I am by no means here to help those in need of serious professional help. Should you need professional help, I provided links in the description that may be of use to you or those you know. As someone who was diagnosed as bipolar 20 plus years ago, I have always found it very important to openly discuss my issues, concerns, and needs with those around me. Pushing through the stigma has helped me maintain my balance, and talking with your table about their needs might also provide clarity and harmony in and out of your session. Here are 5 tips to help you navigate mental health at your table. Tip 1, patience. Having patience and compassion for someone going through something is a major factor in maintaining a balanced session. If another group member is causing stress amongst your table, sometimes the best thing to do is be patient and more understanding. Take a step back, allow them to vent and blow off whatever they need to, and do your best not to let it affect your core balance. The name of the game here is balance, and it will come up often throughout this conversation. Balance doesn't mean happy. It means not too happy and not too sad. Contentment is what we all need, and practicing patience within the context of any group activities will alleviate the pressure, not just for yourself, but for those around you. I know you're thinking, well, what if I've been patient and it's not helping? Well, then it's time to think about a new approach or strategy. Let's talk about it more in tip 2. Tip 2, group communication. At the core of any relationship in your life is communication and problem resolutions. Being able to effectively communicate with others and yourself is going to be a life skill that will always help you succeed and harness long-term relationships with others around you. At any given time, a group can begin to sour, and if you've tried being patient over someone's behavior for a while and it hasn't had any effect, then maybe it's time to have a chat. I would suggest having a private conversation with the offender first and let them know that when you do this, I feel this. But be prepared for any reaction. The only thing you can control in this life is your own behavior. Let me reiterate, the only thing you can control in life is your own behavior. Once you have a full grasp of that concept, you will find maintaining your personal balance so much easier. Then you might start to notice that you attract balance around you instead of chaos. In any case, sometimes mental health issues can make it very hard for the offending party to respond in a mature or cool manner. That's okay. You've communicated to them the issue. If you can collectively reach a solution to the issue, then you've done an awesome thing. You've explained to them how they're affecting you, and they've responded understanding. Incredible. Chef's kiss. Of course, I'm not naive. That's not always the case, and that's also okay. Remind them that you understand things are difficult for them. Don't do it in a condescending way, but show them that you're attempting at being understanding. The thing is, there's no right or wrong in these scenarios. There's only a scale of emotional impact upon each other. The only valid thing you can do is show compassion, communicate your needs as well, and then make decisions based on the impact of their reactions. It can certainly feel like a lot harder at times than it seems, but ultimately, it's about everyone learning how to express their own needs without invalidating others' needs. That starts with appropriate self-communicating, which is why it's tip number 3. Tip 3, self-communication. So, as you know, communication works both ways. It's a two-way street when it comes to mental health. From the person suffering, it's your job to communicate as clearly and cleanly your needs or concerns or general disposition. This doesn't mean it's okay to offload all your baggage onto those around you. That's a whole misery loves company type approach, and all it does is serve to drown those around you as you sink further into your mental health issues. But it does mean that it's your duty to be honest with yourself and then with the others you're involved with. It's soul-searching time, and communicating with an honest voice internally will allow you to communicate honestly with those around you, and that's important. I know it's scary, and the fear of being judged for being different or being weird or even just being a pain can be debilitating. But I promise you one thing, you're playing D&D. The core premise of this game is to build judge-free communities and relationships with others. I can guarantee you that half or all of the people at the table have their own mental health issues, stresses, general day-to-day problems, and can 100% relate to what you're going through. It is the human condition after all. So take the risk, be vulnerable, explain what's going on. Ultimately, one of two things will occur. One, your group will turn around and support you fully and be patient, understanding, and hopefully helpful in whatever way they can. Or two, they shut you down. And at that point, why be involved with them? Those type of people aren't conducive to your health, and you can safely dodge the bullet by no longer prolonging the relationship any further. Perfect. Move on. Release the toxicity. Find your balance. Toxic environments and toxic people are very real things that we need to be aware of. Take a look around you and decide if the people you've invested your time with are refilling your balanced glass of water. If they're not, seriously consider finding new environment. It's a big, scary step, but probably one of the most rewarding and freeing things you can do to help get yourself back on track. Listen, as someone who's dealt with mental health disorders his whole life, I totally get it can feel like an impossible task to A, recognize if it's you or them that are the problem, and B, affect the changes required to move on. So let me say this, whether it's you or them that's the problem is irrelevant. What matters is there's a problem. You need space. Space will give you the clarity to determine what's going on and give you the room to define the value of the relationship or environment you're partaking in. It's like taking the high ground from the enemies in the game. This strategic position allows you to have the battlefield clarity and give you the information you need to make the best decisions for yourself. So take the space. Now, it's time to get away for a bit, which leads us to tip 4. Tip 4, escapism. Now we're talking D&D. What an awesome way to release the worries of life for a couple hours. An absolutely crazy and creative way to escape into fantasy worlds with friends who are all focused on the same objective. When I first found D&D, I was immediately hooked. I couldn't believe how absolutely focused I became, how I was able to shut out the world and be present for the story and the group and the fun. At the core, that's what Dungeons & Dragons is about. Remember that. Remember that if you're starting to find it challenging to play with others at your table. Or remember that if another player approaches you to say that they find your behaviors distracting. Remember that everyone is here to escape the realities of their world, transform themselves for a few hours, and forget their deep-seated depression. Encourage and support each other to enjoy those moments, because you don't always know what everyone's going through or what it took for them to reach the table that day. Everyone's journey is different, but everyone's goal at the table is to leave reality at the door. With that in mind, let's talk about tip 5, where we look at how we can support each other by allowing each other to be the awesomest versions of ourselves. Tip 5, empowerment. As heavy as mental health discussions can be, I wanted to make sure we had some positive notes. Mental health lives in the deep well of despair and is constantly shrouded in the dark cloud of depression and chaos. But let's talk about how we can empower each other through this. For me, I remember stepping away from my first sessions and early campaigns, feeling like I could literally conquer the world. I felt empowered to go and begin achieving things around my house like it was a video game. Like every time I did the dishes or swept the floor or mowed the lawn, there was an achievement unlock sign that popped up beside me. It made me recognize the value of setting goals and objectives and rewarding myself for achieving them. At the height of depression, D&D taught me to reward myself for just getting up and bathing that day. Let that sink in. I think many people could relate. D&D taught me no matter how battle-weary I was, waking up the next day and getting up out of bed was something I could commit to, something I could promise myself and follow through on. I began to feel empowered and emboldened, and I kept the snowball going. I was supported by committing to my group because if I didn't show, there wasn't a show, and that's not fair to others who need to escape. I had to truly commit to them and then to myself and then to life. The game and my table empowered me to do more, and it got easier and continues to get easier the more I commit. So let's get real for a second. I said I'm transparent. It scares the life out of me to even be discussing this, as it makes me vulnerable, and I've spent years never letting people see me sweat. Confidence was my shield. At the time of recording this, I'm in a full-on manic episode. My life has been spiraling for months on end, and I have not been able to find my balance. I question where I'll be tomorrow, every day. I fight to get out of bed. I fight to be there for my children. I fight to be there for my partner. The one consistent that has kept me going is my commitment to this content, the commitment to our D&D show, and my commitment to this channel. Several months ago, I began this journey to create a judge-free home for the every nerd. My goal? to create a distribution channel for awesome content from honest, like-minded folks who are interested in all the things nerdy. That could be anything from ttrpgs to video games to movies to whatever. These last few months have been weighing me down. I have been drowning, and I'm telling you this so that you can see what mental health looks like. It's me, it's you, it's everyone. It's scary as hell to be this vulnerable in front of the internet. I pride myself on never letting people see me weak. I've said it already, but that's what this is about. Always remember that at your table, you never know what others are going through. So be as kind as possible towards each other. Be cognizant of each other's energies and try not to disrupt each other's balances. For those of you struggling right now, I've compiled a list at the end of the video and I've added links in the description with really great resources to talk to people or connect with online. And this is how we truly cast guidance and support each other. As always, don't forget, D&D isn't a game you win. Let's cast guidance on each of our tables to enhance each other's experiences. Thanks, Derps. See you next week with more from me, your boy Gregolas. Hey Derps, thanks for watching. We're trying really hard to build this channel up, so if you could give us a subscribe, that would be really helpful and appreciated. This community matters to us, and we want to hear your voice. Let us know what you liked or didn't like, and let's chat in the comments. Also, don't forget to check me out playing D&D on the D&D show every other Sunday. The link should be somewhere over here, or here, or here. Thanks!